Today's topic of discussion is beta males. So if you look at today's society, right, there is a massive rise in simping. Now, the simps have destroyed the game. What they're doing is they're putting these average looking women on pedestals, treating them like goddesses, and they're losing all their self-respect in return. So in this video, we're going to be discussing some key points in terms of why simping is unattractive and how these beta males don't get nothing. So first point is ATM. Now I'm going to play this 30-second clip for you guys of a woman talking about how simping is attractive. So I'll play it now for you guys.
Today's hot take is that being a simp is actually so attractive. Wow, that is really red. Like, guys will fully bully each other about being a simp. It's genuinely so attractive. And I just don't get why they get bullied for it. Like, it's so attractive, a guy knowing what they want and like being obsessed with you and like adoring you. Like, that's really attractive. Surely you girls have to agree that a simp is just the best thing ever. Every girl wants a simp.
Okay, so you guys are back now. You've had a watch of it. Now, that nutcase woman in the video putting on all that plaster of makeup, she's saying that it's good for men to simp. Now, I don't know about you guys, but anytime I'm talking to a woman and she's trying to pull back, trying to use a manipulation game or whatever the case is, I ain't gonna lower my self-respect by trying to chase after that person. No, but you've got some certain sick individuals out there who think that if a guy chases after them, now it can't just be any other regular Joe Schmo chasing after her. It's in her fantasy the guy that she really likes. So if he starts chasing after her, she gets really turned on by that. I mean, it's just completely pathetic how you've got certain people out there who need somebody else to beg them in order to have a conversation with them. You guys don't want to be in that type of situation when you're having to try and persuade, trying to beg, you're trying to get her to communicate and she just refusing. So your best bet is to give those type of people no contact. So you just unsend your messages, withdraw communication, and continue speaking to other women who have got healthy attachments. So when a woman, for example, talks about how a man needs to satisfy me, he needs to provide for me, protect me, take care of me, but she's not giving anything in return. Oftentimes, those women are narcissistic. They've been given a bit of looks by God. It ain't like she's had to earn it. So she was gifted it by God. And then what she does is she ends up abusing it. She's like, oh, okay, I'll get all these guys to take me out on these dates, take me to these restaurants, buy me all these gifts, chocolates, flowers, everything. Buy even plane tickets. These beta simps. Some of these guys have even got a lot of money. Sorry, these rappers, influencers, they're buying tickets for these women to fly them out. Talk about simping at a whole new level. So buy the ticket, buy the hotel, fornicate with them, and then once they've done whatever they needed to do, then they just chuck them to the side of the curb. Now, I'm going to give you guys a real life example of this. So I got a guy who I'm not going to name for confidentiality in case he tries to put a case on me. But this guy here is a snitch anyway. But I'm going to tell you how it is. This guy here, we'll call him Johnny Boy. Now, Johnny Boy, many years ago, about 20 plus years ago, at our workplace, he didn't try to, so he was speaking to a woman. So a woman was Eastern European, she was a Polish woman. Getting to know her, talking about how he's got all these ambitions, he's bought a house, bought it on mortgage, and so on. So he was doing security work and she was doing cleaning. And then obviously her paperwork wasn't quite sorted yet. So as time went on, she was thinking, okay, this guy here, he's trying to pursue me, he's trying to beg me into a relationship. Let me see what I can get out of him. So what happened was, she got into a relationship with him, she got married to him, and then took half his shit. So his house, 150k plus house, he had to remortgage his house. That house there, she took it from him. So she divorced, and then when she divorced him, took that house, he had to leave and he had to remortgage that other house. So he had bought that house, and then he had another house that he was trying to get a hold of, and then that first one got taken away from him. And then since then he's just gone loopy. He's on all these pills and medication. Takes about 10 tablets a day. Taking these happy pills every day just to function. Now this is what happens with certain guys, right, who are so weak. They let women just violate them on a day-to-day basis. Take all their shit. Take all their assets from them. And they ain't got no self-respect for themselves. So next point is insecure. This is what happens with guys like Johnny Boy. They're insecure and they feel as though they have to lead with their wallet. Now for guys who are watching this, if you think that you need to tell a woman how much you're earning, what your bank balance is, and how much savings you got, and so on, just to get into a relationship with her, that's not the right woman for you guys. A woman doesn't need to know any of those personal things about you guys. As long as you're providing shelter, food, accommodation, clothing. From the Deen perspective, that is your basic minimum requirements as a husband. But what these guys do is, these insecure boys, they think that, if I tell a woman that I'm earning X amount, or I'm going to give her all these gifts, and I'm going to take her out and give her all these experiences, then she's going to think I'm special. Oftentimes it's the complete opposite. It's the same thing with guys, right, who are entertaining these women who are trying to charge a high mahar. Got certain beta simps who are trying to figure out ways to pay for all these big weddings and give crazy mahar in order to get into a relationship with her. Now there's certain guys out there who have even gone into debt just to try and please a woman. Embarrassing. Now I heard about one guy, he must have done a wedding, blew all his bank balance, and he's in 20k debt. Imagine that, 20 grand debt just to try and give a woman a wedding. Completely pathetic. So next point is rinsed. It's going back to Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy is a topic of discussion for today. He's the case study we're doing today. We're reading. Now with Johnny Boy, assets got taken from him. That's it, the house. He had to remortgage. Had a whole mental breakdown. Since then he can't function the same. He gets panic attacks. He gets anxiety attacks. And then now he's developed a hatred for Eastern Europeans in particular. So he's got a hatred for foreigners, but in particular when it comes to Polish Eastern Europeans, that's his worst nightmare. This is what happens. Because these guys here, they give all the power to women. Now, this guy here, right, he does so much degeneracy that he's decided to just sleep with prozzies now. Now that's what happens when these guys here, they're so deprived. They have no other choice but to go with prozzies because they feel as though if they go with a regular woman, she's just going to take all his money from him. Now that's what happens with certain guys. They're reckless like that. Now I remember I was speaking to my other colleague, Joe, and he was saying the same thing. How this guy here, Johnny Boy, is in a long-term relationship. I mean, not long-term, sorry. He's in a long-distance relationship with someone from up north. And she's just taking his money. He sends her over 100, 200, 300 pounds every week or so. And then they were planning on buying a house together. Whoa. More like she's buying a house for herself. There's no together. So this is it. These people here, when are people going to start waking up to the games that are being played? You don't want to be a mug like that who's just getting violated, getting all his assets taken away from him, all his money, all his time, effort, energy. Now, with the security shifts, they're long shifts, they're 12 hours. So imagine doing like 60 hours a week, grinding. And then at the end, woman just takes all his stuff. So, final point is damaged. That's what happens with these type of people. They end up getting damaged for life. Now, when it comes to money, you can lose your money, make a few bad investments, and then you've lost X amount. Alright. But when it comes to your peace of mind, your mental health, if that gets taken away from you guys for a woman, then you've got a serious issue. So a woman should never take away your peace of mind. So guys who are watching this, any woman that you come across, you need to assess the pros and the cons. Is she worth the headache? Is she worth the drama? Because all women are going to come with drama and headache at some points in time. But it's up to you to assess whether or not she's going to be an asset or a liability in the long run. So, just to wrap up, ATM. So, the case study for today was Johnny Boy. How he was getting treated as an ATM machine. He got used and abused. Woman came along, plotted it all out, got married to him, got the paperwork secured, got the house secured, jackpot, 150 plus K, and then kicked him outside onto the curb. That's what happens with guys like that, who just have no self-respect for themselves. And the next one after was insecure. Guys who have to lead with their wallet, they have to lead with the paycheck. Those are the most insecure guys. You're basically telling a woman that you're not good enough for her without your money. Now, as I've mentioned before, there's a difference between providing and protecting and getting rinsed and treated as an ATM machine. You want a woman to give you respect. When she comes with an entitled attitude, and she thinks that she deserves every penny of yours that you've had to work and you've had to grind for, that's a toxic woman. And the next one after that was rinsed. That's what happens with guys. Guys end up getting rinsed. To get these government marriages, get the system involved. And then before you know it, they're getting stripped of all their assets. Years and years and years of grafting. To make money at that kind of level, people think it's simple and easy to make, 50k, 100k plus. That takes a lot of years of working and actually making the right moves, investing your money, saving it wherever you can. And then with that right, somebody's come along and just taking it all away from them. So that's what it is when it comes to certain life stories like this. They may be a bit funny, but guys like that obviously deserve it certain times. But it's about learning from these type of people. So then that way there, you guys don't make the same mistakes. You don't want to end up like Johnny Boy, taking 10 plus tablets a day just to function. And the final point was damaged. That's what happens. Point of no return. Mental health is gone. Bank balance has been destroyed. And then the person ain't got no peace of mind anymore. Complete waste of life. So that's what it is. You guys here, you don't want to do no simping. You don't want to beg a woman for a relationship. Hit her up once in a while, every couple of weeks, a month plus. Be like, oh yeah, how you been? She doesn't want to answer, doesn't want to cooperate, doesn't want to show the same level of respect. Alright, cool. Unsend your messages and just stop communicating with her. Now you give these people silence and distance. Let them process their emotions. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.